Hey everyone, today we're going to be taking a look at the new and improved Hinderer knives Jurassic. So it's been a while since I've seen a Jurassic come through the shop, and that's because they've been working on updating it. And in the box here you'll see the first of many updates and upgrades is it is now running on their tri-way system, like pretty much all of their other knives now. And now if you are unfamiliar with Hinderer knives and the tri-way system, how it works is that it is a completely modular setup. So if you want to swap out the bearings that it comes equipped with out of the box for some washers, you can do that, which is really cool. You don't really see that anywhere else. As you can see on this Hinderer, there are quite a few screws across it. And the reason for that is that practically everything on a Hinderer knife is modular, so it can be replaced with different parts, different colors, etc. So if you're somebody who really loves to customize your knives and kind of looks at them as though they're a blank canvas, I really can't recommend Hinderer knives enough because they are literally designed to be customized. So opening this one up here, you'll see it's a little bit of a chunkier knife. Now, if you're familiar with their XM18 series, it's by far their most popular. This was designed to be kind of an in-between size between their XM18 3 and their 3.5, which is their 3-inch blade and their 3.5-inch blade. So I'll bring those in here. You can see a 3 and a 3.5, and you can just see how it gradually gets bigger. So that should tell you that you get right at about a 3.25-inch blade, which is right on, because as you can see, that's about 3.25 inches of cutting edge. You'll see that that overall length is right about 7 3/4 or so. A nice full-sized EDC. But again, bringing back in that XM18 3.5, you'll see that this handle is still a little bit wider. And what it really looks like to me is their clips, but again, just kind of made a bit beefier. Like you can see those finger grooves and thumb ramp look pretty much the same. So I just wanted to get those quick comparisons out of the way before talking about the specs on this one. Now, if I flip this over, you'll see that on the back of the blade there, that is in MagnaCut now, which is a nice upgrade from the S35 VN that it was in before. And instead of a saber grind that it used to have, it is now pretty deep hollow grind. You'll see it does have those dual thumb studs and of course still that flipper tab for deployment. And if I flip this over here, you'll see that it does now have a steel Lockface Insert that also acts as an over travel stop, so you don't have to worry about pushing the frame too far, which I really like. And it really just has a much snappier action than I remember the previous version having. Granted, again, it has been quite a while since I felt a Jurassic, but I will say the action on this feels super fine-tuned, and the detent just feels excellent. So really, with the addition of the tri-way system, that Lockface Insert, and working on the detent, it just really feels like a brand new knife, which is awesome because I really, really like the ergonomics of the Jurassic. Now I think this is really going to give the XM18 series a run for its money, because I know myself and many others have always kind of wished that there was a in between the 3 and the 3.5, and that's exactly what this is. And it feels excellent. Like it just really, I really can't describe it. It looks chunky, and it is, but it really just like melts in the hand, and it just feels like an ergonomic dream. Like whenever you're dealing with a super kind of thin handle, this one's not bad, but there are some handles out there that are really skinny and really thin, and you have to really squeeze down to get a good grip, and that just causes hand fatigue over time, especially if you're hard using. So with a bigger handle like this, you're not going to get that. And I don't have the biggest hands out there, and it's not too big for me either. So I think they just kind of nailed that middle ground of being beefy, but not oversized. So I just think that's really impressive. Now, looking at the full titanium scale on the back here, you'll see that this is a 2-position pocket clip, right hand tip up or tip down carry only, not a left-handed knife, and it does come from factory set to be tipped down. Immediately I'd flip that. I love tip up carry, but to each their own. Flipping onto the spine here, you'll see that on the other scale, It is a titanium liner on the other side with their G10 scales. Again, that is the case for pretty much every Hinderer knife out there now, which is awesome because you can swap out that scale to be something else if you want. All of the hardware on here is titanium, the clip, the screws, all of that. You do have a single titanium barrel spacer on the spine, and then down here you have what they're calling their modular backspacer. So this one is set up to just be a really simple and clean, like smooth backspacer. On the previous ones, I know a lot of them came with a lanyard extension hole here. So if you ever want to upgrade, I know they plan on making like glass breakers, and it's really cool. It's like a single small little Allen screw here, and you can replace that. Again, a modular dream. So if you like customizing, if you like swapping parts in and out, Hinderer knives are really just a blank canvas, which is funny to say because they're really not blank. They're heavily thought out, and everything, again, from their detent to their anodization to their blade finish, all of it is just executed to perfection. So instead of calling it a blank canvas, I suppose I should say it is a beautifully painted masterpiece that you can still customize and change. And they actually encourage you to do so. They make tons and tons of replacement parts, as I'm sure you've seen. Now, a couple last things. I wanted to do one last size comparison. Here is a auto version of the Benchmade Mini Adamas. And if I flip this here, you'll see it's kind of a 1-to-1. You get almost the exact same amount of cutting edge and pretty much the exact same amount of functional grip area. So if you've ever held one of those before, you'll have an idea of what you're getting yourself into here. Again, this handle's just a little bit more palm filling. And then I also wanted to check out the weight here because it is a little bit heftier. So let's see. Yeah, you're looking at about 5.3 ounces for the new Jurassic. And just comparing that to that Mini Adamas, that is about 4.8 ounces. Bringing in some of those other Hinderers again. The XM 18.3.5, pretty much the exact same weight. So that's cool. And that Eclipse. So it is a bit of a heftier knife for sure. Again, you are getting some thick titanium slabs, titanium hardware. I think the weight is totally warranted because you are getting a very hard use knife here. And again, with how thick that handle is, you're not going to experience nearly as much fatigue if you are hard using with this knife than if you were using something with a pretty like thin and skinny handle. So it might look a little bit interesting and different, but it has its reasons. So yeah, just to kind of re-hit on a lot of those talking points, because this has been a little bit of a longer video, the big upgrades, the TLDR of the difference between the previous version and this, you're getting that upgraded steel to MagnaCut now with the deep hollow grind. You are running on the tri-way pivot system, which is great. You can switch between bearings or your choice of washers. You have the steel Lockface Insert, an over travel stop, and all of the other things that have been making Hinderer knives so sought after and why many consider it to be one of their grails. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on these changes and upgrades to the Jurassic, really bringing this prehistoric design into the modern age. If you have one of the old ones and are planning on getting a new one, I'd also love to know. As always, if you want to see even more specs and info on this one, or just want to pick one up for yourself, links are down in the description box below. They'll take you on over to GPKNIVES.com. While you're down there, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and stay sharp.